Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Kathie J, and in this edition of the Kathie J Show, we are going to learn about juvenile arthritis. There's an event coming up that we can help support. Please welcome my guest today. I have Dana Baker, she's the development manager, and then I have Madeline Murphy, the Rocky Mountain chapter director. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for
All right.
having us.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's get right into it. So you hear arthritis and you think, well, obviously that's an old person's thing or someone that had surgery or, my knee. So that's not it at all. Juvenile and arthritis, to hear them together is kind of crazy. Can you talk to us about it?
Yeah, so actually, Barb is who I think you knew from
Yes.
the Arthritis Association. And so we're with her new organization, which is Breakthrough T1D, which is type 1 diabetes. And so type 1 diabetes is a autoimmune disease that means it doesn't go away. So anyone can be diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, whether you're a child or an adult. And so we actually changed our name from Juvenile Diabetes Research Organization or Research Foundation to Breakthrough T1D. Yep.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So not arthritis. I'm confused on that. Okay.
It's
Dana, shake
okay.
your head. Yes, it's okay. My bad. I'm sorry. Yes. But
It's a
still,
Monday for
still,
me. I
right,
mean, there's
right.
not enough coffee for me today. So it's
It
okay.
is, but you're absolutely right, and I still get confused because, I had cousins who had diabetes when we were kids, and it was very hard to understand
Yeah.
what they needed to go through. So, explain to me this and why you're using the title Breakthrough.
Having diabetes even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago looks different than how we manage diabetes today, type 1 diabetes, right? And so your cousin's experience was probably vastly different than how kids and adults and everywhere in between manages it today because of the breakthroughs that formerly JDRF, now Breakthrough T1D, has brought to market. And so we changed our name really because we needed a more inclusive name to represent the community that Breakthrough T1D represents. Even those kids, your cousins grew up to be adults, though they had T1D as kids, now they have type 1 diabetes as adults. And these kids that are being diagnosed today will someday be adults, but actually a huge percentage of newly diagnosed individuals this year will mostly be adults who either have been misdiagnosed with type 2 or it just is a later onset type 1 diabetes.
Wow, okay, so we have type 1 diabetes, which you're saying is autoimmune, and then type 2 is the hereditary one? Explain break them down. Type 3 is sugar, like, to break them down.
Type 1 is autoimmune. So type 1 is something you're born with. No
Okay,
matter what you eat or how you live, you cannot control a
got it.
type 1 diabetes diagnosis. Dana, you had something to say. Was type 1 or type 2 diabetes is
I would just say that that can be more of a lifestyle scenario, and that's something that does present more in adults. And that is one of the biggest issues with our community is that there is so much misunderstanding. There's a lot of products that are advertised on television that talk about diabetes, and really trying to understand the difference between, the adult onset sort of lifestyle management of type 2 and the autoimmune disease of type 1 that really you had alluded earlier to juvenile arthritis, also autoimmune, nothing someone can do to prevent the diagnosis, and is something that people like my daughter will always be reliant on insulin. She is insulin dependent, cannot make her own insulin right now. So it's very, very different from type 2, where they can and do make insulin. So that's the biggest difference.
Okay, so even when you're saying diabetes, Dana, there's not a way to say, "Oh, it's anyone that can't make insulin." That's not like, there's
A
not a
hundred percent.
solution for
The
diabetes.
tough. That's the struggle in our community is that and I, to be totally fair, before my daughter was diagnosed, I wouldn't have been able to tell you the difference. And so, it's something that unless you're unfortunately and brought into this community, you wouldn't really know the difference. And so there's a lot of misunderstandings. There's a lot of times my daughter will be out eating and someone maybe sees her devices and says, like, can you even eat that? Or did you eat a lot of sugar as a child? And so you're always facing the
Ugh,
misunderstandings,
ugh.
just even today. So yeah, it's definitely something, but it's something that like our organization works to bring to light, and advocate and inform the community as best we can.
It's you really need to because, I just can't imagine that someone would be that gall that they would actually just say it to somebody.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really, I think too, my daughter wears her device. She's now 22. She was diagnosed at 11, and she's always been very comfortable wearing her diabetes devices, which you can actually, there's advertisements now on TV. You'll see some of them. She wears an Omnipod, and a Dexcom CGM, which monitors her blood. So they're very visible. And so when she's out in public and I'm with her, I see eyes on her products and I see
Is it
people. So a lot of times they'll wear them on their arms.
uh-huh.
So it can be very visible there. Sometimes it'll be on a leg. It'll be maybe on a back or a stomach. And what's funny is when you are aware of it, all of a sudden you'll see it far more prevalently than you've ever seen. Like you probably never see it, but now that you have it in your head, you're going to be out in public and see somebody with the equipment. So
Am I looking for a little box that someone wears? Is it a
So
patch?
she wears what's called an Omnipod, which is a little sort of exactly like that, a pod. She has to change that every 3 days. And what that does is that delivers her insulin.
Okay.
So she has a handheld device, which looks like a phone. And every time she eats, she's having to put in what we call a correction, basically giving herself insulin for eating, which your body would do on its own. Your body is
Yes.
just so amazing, knows exactly how much to give, so that you can eat your meal. Unfortunately, she's her own pancreas, so she's guessing, and
Yeah.
guessing can lead to a very high blood sugar if you don't guess right, or a very low blood sugar if you don't guess right. So um, they have done studies that type 1 diabetics make an additional 180 decisions every single day. And these are quite honestly life threatening. My daughter is deciding every day how much insulin, and too much can kill her and too little can kill her. So, it is something that we want to bring to light as much as Breakthrough has done all these wonderful things to make living with it better. And they're doing the research, looking for that cure. It doesn't take away from a lot of the very basic things that you're still having to do and that are top of mind for them every single day.
180 decisions a day is exhausting, and that's just you trying to decide that's not anything that has to do with your kids, your job, just the 180 decisions, based on what's going in your mouth and if you need to check your blood, and
Exercise,
yes,
sickness, your sleep. She can be woken by her CGM, which monitors her blood sugar and lets her know where she's at. That
yeah,
can be waking her up all night long. So she, wakes up with the rest of us and she's hardly had any sleep. And
wow.
it's simply just because of the type 1 diabetes. And so, our family got involved 6 months after she was diagnosed. We didn't know anyone with it. She didn't know anyone with it. And we came across what was then JDRF, is now Breakthrough, and decided, heck, we'll sign up for this walk. And it was life changing for us to go to an event and see other, like, we call them unicorns in our family, because it was something so unique to see out in the wild, in public. And she saw children her age wearing devices and pricking their finger and all of the things. And we just found a community within Breakthrough, and that has led to years of returning and doing walks. It's led to signature events that we've been to, galas and other fundraising. And I'm now working at Breakthrough just because I believe in the mission. And I told my daughter I'm here until there's a cure. So, that is really what we're all about. And that's really what our walk is about, is our community and supporting the people who a lot of times can feel alone
Yeah.
um, in that moment, in that diagnosis. They haven't met anyone before. No family member. We have no family members with it, so you
Yeah,
don't have somebody to draw on. You think that you would. It. They always say runs in the family. Our
yeah,
daughter was the first. So it's really it can be an uphill climb, and Breakthrough was an amazing resource for every member of our family to really kind of see a way through it
yeah.
and see a way, like, how can we do this and keep going? Because when you know there's no cure and there's so much time every day that you're put into just existing,
Mhm.
it can be a toll on everybody. So
Yeah, thank you,
uh,
Dana, thank you.
yeah.
Madeline, you are the chapter director, so what is your connection with Breakthrough Type 1 Diabetes? What is your connection?
That's a great question. Actually, my two best friends growing up had type 1 diabetes. So back in the 90s, nobody had CGM, so continuous glucose monitors. Insulin pumps were in their basic stages, right? And so when we were at school in elementary school, I'd need to walk my friends down to the office when they were experiencing a high blood sugar so they'd get there safe. Or when they were experiencing a low blood sugar, I'd
Mm,
need to quickly get them a snack that I grew up carrying in my backpack. And so I'm not a mom of a type 1 like Dana is. Dana, I would like to say, is grew as her daughter's pancreas, right? Like she was her
yes,
daughter's
right, like you
pancreas
said, yes.
outside of her body. And so my connection's different. And now that I've been with Breakthrough T1D for almost 3 years, I feel like I just have met now I have many connections, right? I
Yes,
have all
right.
these people in my world and in my orbit who I just are resilient and amazing. And yeah, that's my connection here.
They come to you because they first get diagnosed with a doctor,
Yep.
and then they say, "Hey, if you need more information," kinda like, "Here's the pamphlet for Breakthrough." Is that kinda how they
Exactly.
find you?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
oh, go ahead, but it sounds like it sounds like you do more than just, "Hi, welcome to Breakthrough." I mean, you
exactly.
obviously can help with, I mean, counseling, everything for the families to them. I mean, you everything is covered. Talk about what you do there.
Yeah, so when, individuals get diagnosed, and this happens pretty often in the hospital, they will get, a resource, like you're saying, a pamphlet, and, "Hey, scan this, put your information in, and we'll mail you a bag of hope." So many families come to us getting that bag of hope in the hospital or fresh out the hospital. That bag of hope has books for the kids, or we have a child version, a teenager version, an adult version, and a Spanish speaking version. And it's every day we're working on having it be more inclusive to reach every group of people.
Yeah.
But that gives you all the information somebody needs when they're newly diagnosed, or we try to. And then for the kids, they get a bear called Rufus who has type 1 diabetes. Rufus will be at our walk Sunday too, which is great. Um, but yeah, we really Breakthrough T1D for over 50 years has been opening doors that were once closed by a type 1 diabetes diagnosis. And so we lead the way to more effective solutions by connecting the brightest minds, like researchers. Think of those mad
Yeah.
scientists in a lab, those bright minded people. We're like liberal art degrees people that are just trying to fundraise and get the cures. But they're
I
actually,
love my liberal arts degree.
me too. Me too. Thank you. I just
You
like to
nailed it.
clarify,
That's
I'm
exactly
not
right.
the researcher. um, but they're the mad scientists in the labs, and they are the ones coming up with these crazy curative therapies and advancing treatments. And they really are doing it. And so Breakthrough T1D funds those crazy ideas and then advances treatments, influences policy. So we do a lot of policy making and or policy influencing, I should say, not making. We really try and fight for everyone to have access to type 1 diabetes, the newest and brightest type 1 diabetes treatments and supplies, and then improving access to care by working with insurance companies to make sure they see the importance of
Yes.
why their clients should have access to the
Yes.
best of the best. And so we really drive that innovation forward and really believe that because that innovation driving forward, Breakthrough T1D will make type 1 diabetes a thing of the past. We're focusing on accelerating life-changing breakthroughs to cure, prevent, and treat type 1 diabetes and its complications. So that's really our big focus. And we do that in a lot of different ways. We don't provide counseling, but we can connect people to a community where they could probably find a counselor, right? So we focus a lot on our community and connecting
Yeah.
families, adults, teenagers, kids together so they are not alone, right? So, like Dana's daughter, they're not having to wait 6 months before ever seeing an individual with a CGM on their body or an insulin pump. And so we
Right.
really want to make them feel seen and known.
And
Right.
there's also like that we have outreach ambassadors that do for newly diagnosed if they're interested, a phone call from a fellow mom like myself to talk through. And I will say with this disease, there's nothing better than someone who sat in your chair because it's so hard to understand. And it isn't that people don't want to understand, it's just so complex. So getting to have that conversation with a mom who's been in your shoes, who can talk you through, or even some of our one-on, or we have some groups like teens that are getting ready to go to college,
Yes.
parents, grandparents of T1Ds. And so, there's a lot of these different kinds of meetup groups that we put people in contact with so that you just have other people that you can talk to, that it's not just your doctor and nurse that you see, once every 3 months. It's people that are living your day to day and who can really share and help share their experience as well and just be supportive in that. And I will say, in the short time that my daughter, she's had it for 11 years now, she started by pricking her finger every 10, 12 times a day to check her blood sugar. She is now wearing a CGM. She never has to prick her finger.
Wow.
So just in a short, yes, it's not cured, but her quality of life has been truly impacted by the research that Breakthrough funds. So
Yeah. I think, Madeline, that's why I was thinking with the counseling is everything Dana just said. It's not official counseling, like, yeah, but everything she just said, the connection right there has to help your sanity to know you're not the only one that's doing that 180 times a day or
Exactly.
yes.
share tips and tricks. I mean, it's just, there's something so nice about that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk, Madeline, let's talk about the breakthrough walk, the Denver walk that's happening.
Yes.
Okay, since we obviously need more money for more research, for more, yeah. So what do we got to do? Tell us all about it.
You get it, Kathy J. We need more money to
Yeah.
advance research. And so that is what our walk on October 12th is all about. It's at City Park, and I'm going to give you the high level details. I'm going to let Dana take it because she's the walk girl. So
All right.
it's at City Park, and it's a really fun morning, really, of connection and advancing cures and hope, really. So, Dana, do you want to give us the details?
Yeah, I'll just give you the real quick details. The event opens at 9 a.m. We're at City Park, East Meadow. And then there's going to be DJ stage. There's a rock climbing wall. There's Home Depot doing activities with kids. The Denver SWAT is going to be out there with a robotic dog. We have food trucks. We have vendors. And so it's really a day of connection and support for the community. So someone doesn't have to be diagnosed with T1D or a parent to come and play and have fun and support. You just need to go to our website, which is the Breakthrough T1D Denver walk, and register. And it's a free event. But of course, we would love people to fundraise with their connections and their family, and it helps raise awareness. The weather is going to be gorgeous. The walk starts at 10:30, and we would just love for people to come out and join us and support our community. And there's probably somebody that you know right now who has T1D that you could think of that, it would be nice to support them on the day.
It absolutely would. Madeline, how many people do have T1D?
Do we get that?
No,
Sorry,
no,
can
I'm
you repeat
sorry.
that?
Like, what is the population
Oh,
percentage of
God.
people?
That's a great question. I don't want to make up a statistic here, but it is a lot
Or
more common.
Colorado or the Rocky Mountain region I just curious if I mean, I just was listening to a bunch of other stats, and I'm just curious. I feel like, you're right, Dana. If it's not hereditary, it could be anybody. It could be any
It really
age.
can. And I will say to the numbers, what's kind of hard in drawing that and something that's hard for Breakthrough is because of HIPAA and because of, very good privacy, for us to receive exact numbers
They
of
gotta come to you.
diagnoses, just
It's
like in our
hard. Yeah, they have to come to
community.
us.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, what have we captured? And we do
Right.
have national numbers, I believe, and worldwide.
But I think this is the chance if you're out there and you're hiding, not necessarily hiding, but you haven't introduced yourself to Breakthrough, this is your chance to do it because, they could use your help to find the breakthrough. Like, the more of more that come out, and support each other, the bigger we can show, "Look, this is a real deal, that we need more money, we need the research. Let's do this." When people are diagnosed, can they have it and not know? Is this an I mean, how does if they're all different ages coming at you, how does that happen?
Yeah, no, it's great. These are great questions, Kathy J. So yeah, you can live with type 1 diabetes and not know. And
Not for too long.
not for too long, then you're gonna know,
Yeah.
right? But something that's really important that Breakthrough T1D is doing is screening. So we
Mm.
believe and invest heavily in type 1 diabetes screening. And so that essentially means like if you know your cousin has type 1 diabetes or your brother, maybe you should go get screened. There's a few studies available, or there's a few opportunities available here in the Denver metro area that you can get screened at. And that will just tell you, oh, I have the antibodies. I will someday develop type 1 diabetes. What can I do now? What treatments are available for me today to
Wait
delay
a minute, wait
onset?
a minute, wait a minute. So if I don't have symptoms, but I might have someone in the family, I could go and you could test my blood and say, "Guess what?"
Yep.
And the doctor would be able to tell me, "You don't have it now, but you have something in your blood where it could develop."
Yeah. So
Wow,
right now there are
that's cool.
it's amazing. And Breakthrough T1D is part of the reason that is happening, which is amazing. And so right now there are 4 antibodies that we can test for. And essentially, and we know there are many more antibodies, but those 4 are like tried and true. We know we can test for those. And like I said, I'm not a researcher,
Okay.
obviously. But if it comes back that you have multiple of those antibodies, that your doctor will
Yeah,
lead you
okay.
down a path of what that means for you.
Good, okay. Yeah, so did your daughter just all of a sudden get sick, Dana? Was she just weak? What was happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that is also what we try and promote is just knowing the symptoms because there can be misdiagnosis. It can be very dangerous and it doesn't have to be because it is so simple to diagnose. So I will just share quickly. My daughter was getting very thin, but at 11, she'd grown taller. You kind of think it's a growth spurt.
Yes.
Um, then she starts coming and she's drinking a lot of water, which is another very big sign of type 1 diabetes is thirst. And it's actually your body trying to flush out the sugar from your body because it can't process it anymore.
'Cause your
It
pancreas isn't processing it.
Exactly. And
Okay.
so that's why she's getting thin. None of the nutrients that she's eating is getting to her muscles or her body.
Wow.
So when I saw both of these things kind of simultaneously, I still thought, there's no way. She's fine. She's going to school. So I scheduled an appointment with her pediatrician. They did a very simple urine test. And that's why we're saying like awareness is so important because it is a simple test. It costs cents to do. And we sat in the room and the doctor walked in and looked at us and said, your daughter's got type 1 diabetes. I'm calling the hospital to get a bed to get her in the hospital and checked in as we speak. And so she was not sick, but she had high enough blood sugar that she was leading down a path. And so everyone's story is different,
Yeah.
but the symptoms can be very similar. It's thirst, it's weight loss, fatigue. Sometimes it can look like you're sick in another way and you're assuming, boy, this is really kind of dragging on.
Yeah.
Um, so it's something that can be very easily diagnosed. And so if you ever question, it's simple, simple, simple. And pediatricians can do it or your primary care doctor can do it for you.
Thank you.
Dana, Can you like Dana's story of her daughter being diagnosed, though nobody wants to be part of this club, right? Nobody wants to
Mhm.
be part of the type 1 diabetes club, but we kind of think it's, if you have to be, we're a pretty good club to be a part of because we'll accept you with open arms. But your daughter's story was pretty lucky because she wasn't super, not lucky, you know what I mean? She wasn't super sick. Do
100%.
you DKA is diabetic ketoacidosis, and kids and adults can go into DKA if their blood sugar is too high, and that is really a medical emergency. And so you're not just getting a diagnosis, but you're fighting something major in your body.
You're at that point, you are and a lot of times a type 1 diagnosis can come in the ER because the child is getting progressively sicker, and the assumption is, or they are misdiagnosed with you have the flu, you
Yeah.
something, or maybe it's concurrently running that you have the flu, but at the same time, you have type 1. And so what happens is DKA is when the body is starting to just shut down because you're not able to process anything.
Oh,
None of the sugar is going. And this is why before insulin was discovered, um, type 1 was a death sentence because there was no other way to keep that person alive. And so we really bring awareness to the forefront so that someone doesn't end up in DKA and in an emergency room, which is often how they're diagnosed. And they're in the hospital for weeks dealing with all of the repercussions from the complications of the DKA
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
on top of the type 1 diagnosis. So type 1 doesn't have to go to this bad place for the diagnosis. And so again, it's just awareness. It's speaking up when you're in your physician's office, asking for that very easy, very cost effective test.
Yeah, I'd much rather pee than get a finger prick or something, just that was exciting too. So now I know why we're walking. We're walking to find more people like each other, to raise awareness and to raise some money. Madeline, before I let you go today, what else do you wanna let us know today?
If you can't come to walk, I mean, if you know somebody with type 1 diabetes, if you have a child or a spouse or a friend or yourself lives with type 1 diabetes and you don't know anyone else that does, you're not alone and we're here waiting for you. One is all I have to say. So get in touch
I
with
get that type 1,
type 1.
1,
You're right, you're right.
ah.
Get That was perfect, Kathie J. But
It
get in
was
touch with
good.
us. We want to know you, we want to meet with you, we want to have you in our community. If you can't be at Walk this weekend, there's so many other ways to get involved. We have a gala coming up in the spring on May 9th. And that will be amazing. We do a golf event at the Broadmoor every year. And also do a lot of community focused events. So we'll have a community summit this spring that's really just education focused. And yeah, we're here and we're waiting for you and we want you to get involved with us. So that's my plea is please don't do this alone and join us.
Yes, if you're a parent, you obviously
Yeah.
meet other parents. If you're someone
Yes.
dealing with it, you'll meet how they handle it. What foods they find are always good. Stay away from this. I mean, we're
Exactly.
Americans, and the American diet is full of sugar. So I'm
Yes,
sure
it's true.
it's got to be a landmine, 180 landmines every day.
Yep.
Uh,
Exactly.
Thank you so
Exactly.
much, Dana, for sharing your experience
Of
with us. Thank you
course.
so much,
Thank you.
Madeline, for
Thank you.
educating us. And Breakthrough, the Denver T1D walk is going to be happening Sunday, October 12th. Get all the info. The one website, what was it again?
It's Breakthrough T1D Denver Walk. You
Yes,
you
okay.
just go there, you'll see the details, you can register right there. Super easy.
And City Park, I mean, you can't go wrong. Food trucks, I mean, yes, free, but we'd love to meet you in person and actually, have your donation and be a part of the community. Thank you so much, ladies, and
Thank
have a
you,
great
Kathie
day.
J. Thanks for
Thank
making
you.
Thank
time for us.
you.
Yep.
Bye.
Hi to your daughter, Dana.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Kathy J.